Good morning, everyone. Morning, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. How are y'all doing today? BBJ, good morning. Good morning. I'm going to put out a little post that we're live. All right, put a little post out there. We bought some peach. This is really low market cap, so this isn't something that I'm like recommending that everybody get into. It's a little more risky, but it's kind of Dave Portnoy with the jail time token, it not doing very well, and then him suggesting something about peach, but then selling it pretty quickly. I think people are kind of viewing this as like a revenge thing. So I bought 2K worth of it here. I'm going to let it go up a little bit before I DLMM it, but I'll potentially DLMM it depending on what it does as well. So the volume is really, really good on it. So that's a good sign. But we're just watching it right now. Good morning, everybody. Baz, Bruce, Pseudo, Crypto Chronicle, Tarab the Bold. We're also watching CAR. This is an interesting one. I think that this president is going to continue to support and push this thing. And so obviously it grew a ton and then came way down, but I wouldn't be surprised if this does well. So we'll be watching that. And then two coins kind of that we're holding long-term right now are Fart Coin and ARC. We haven't DLMM'd them. We just kind of bought them. This says I bought and sold some here, but I'm pretty sure I have some in my wallet. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I do right here. I do have some. You can see I have JLP, Fartcoin, ARC, as well as Solana and USDC. And then we also are lending SOL and JLP on DeFi Tuna as well. And so obviously these are much smaller numbers, but this is capital that I'm not trying to do anything with, that I want to hold long term. So we can see Peach is doing really, really well. It's up to 2.2 million. I'm curious to see if it ends up breaking through where it was over here. You can see that it had come up to close to 4 million and then dumped off because Dave dumped it, and then it kind of sat, and then it kind of picked up steam here where people were talking about it and selling off. I had seen it on Vector. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, we're going to be talking DeFi. I actually, on my other wallet, I was kind of messing around looking at DeFi Tuna, trying to decide how I wanted to play out DeFi Tuna today. I'm definitely going to be setting up a pool here. I'll do it live on stream. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. I think that Solana is showing some good strength today, so I'll probably end up going slightly long on it here. But I also think that it probably ranges. I don't expect it to go like well above 208 or anything. I kind of expect it to maybe range between 202 and 208. It's possible that it'll move outside these ranges, and I'll have my my range set up here wider than that. I've been doing less leverage, anywhere between 2 and max of 3x. This helps reduce the losses at the end of my range by not going too heavy on the leverage. I've also been looking at doing what's called a delta neutral position. And so excuse me, a delta neutral position, you can see at a 3x here would be at 75% roughly, delta neutral, which basically means that you're betting against volatility. And it allows you to also be slightly short on SOL. And so this helps offset if it does go down. This helps reduce your losses if it hits the end of your range, being at a delta neutral compared to being at like a SOL long or anything like that, which I can explain a little bit more about that as well. Con Mel says he loves DeFi Tuna. Yeah, I'm loving it as well. It's really, really good. Oh no, Peach came back down. Had a little bit of a sell-off there. Interesting to see where it goes. I might set up a pool on it. I kind of wish I already had, but let's see. It could just come all the way back down. It's hard to know. That's why I don't really do a lot with coins this low anymore. It's just not worth it. Probably going to do this 250 bin. There's like no liquidity in these. I'm going to do this 250 bin 2% maybe. Maybe I'll do the 5%. It's probably going to dip a little bit more here. I'm actually going to sell some. And then what I'll do is I'm going to set up a one-sided SOL pool here. So I'm going to capture the profits from it going up. And then I'm going to try to get back into it here. We'll do 15 SOL into a bid ask like this. It's 81% down, which I don't know if I want to go that far down or not. I mean, this is a low market cap coin. We'll drop it a little bit here. So we're doing 72% essentially down. And we're doing bid ask, so it's less risky, right? Basically, we'll be using very little of our liquidity if it dips just a little bit. But if it ends up dipping a lot, then we use more towards the lower end. But this is a bid ask is a safer play. And so this is a high volatile coin. Obviously, it's doing a lot of volume as well. So the potential for fees here are really, really good. But we're going to watch it and see. It could, I think it's going to end up looking at the MACD, RSI, kind of what it's doing here. It looks like it's going to dip a little bit further down. And so we'll watch it to see. Again, this is a low market cap coin. I don't suggest putting a ton of money into this or anything. Honestly, the market has just been so dry that I've been kind of putting small sizings into things like this just to kind of try to earn something. We'll be talking about, again, CAR, Fartcoin, and ARK, and we'll be setting up some pools on them soon, as well as some DeFi Tuna stuff as well. We can see this looks like this is, it's probably going to sit around the 202 to 203. I would think maybe for another 10 to 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer before we see it start to pick up. It could sit in it longer, but we'll see. We'll watch that just a little bit more. And then we set up the one-sided SOL pool on Peach. And so we'll watch this start to dip down, even at the very, very low end of our liquidity being used here, just a small amount, and it's earning 300%. So you can imagine if it starts to move down into this zone here, we'll be earning a lot more. And being that this coin is only at 1.5 million, you have to be careful, right? Because this thing could just dump to nothing very, very quickly. The idea is that we'll earn enough in fees to offset that. We can use Ultra LP, which is an app that I have access to. Not everybody does, but we can actually use this to see live what our P&L is. And so right now it's going to start off pretty small, but as it comes down, we'll see what it gets to. And as it comes down to the bottom, we may end up buying more if we think it's going to bounce well. Conmel, I have SOL USDC open for the past few days on a range of 185 to 220, and it's printing fees like hell. Hey, that's amazing, dude. Are you in? You're on DeFi Tuna, I assume. Sold as well. Interesting to follow your strat. Hey, thanks, Shred. Poppy, what's up, bro? Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. We're up to 180 viewers. Thank y'all so much for being here. I do stream every Monday and Wednesday. We talk all things DeFi as well as the market and things like that. And so we appreciate you joining us right now. We are on a what I consider a more degen coin, but we're going to see what it does here. It's got a lot of volume. Fakir says, if you're bullish on a coin, what kind of position strategy do you usually go with? Honestly, man, it depends on the coin itself. You can see here, I bought in here. As it was rising up, I wanted to hold it for a little while because it's such a low market cap before setting up an LP. And what I was going to do is if it would have broken above the previous high here, I would have set up a one-sided token pool on the way up. But I saw that it started to bounce here. So I went ahead and just sold to capture my profits. And then I set up a one-sided SOL pool because I saw the MACD swapping here. And I thought, okay, this is probably going to dip a little bit more. And so we went ahead and set up a one-sided SOL pool on a bid ask because I'm not really worried about maximizing profits here. This is a very low market cap coin. I'm trying to make money, but also reduce risk, right? And so you can see I have only $3,000, which again, I know is a lot for some people, but this is a very small sizing for me. And I set this up. I've earned like 13 bucks, which is pretty good. 180, 170% is what it's at right now, but I'm barely using any of my liquidity. And so as this dips down, if it dips down more, which it looks like it is, it's hard to fully know, but it does look like it is, then I'll start to earn more fees as it moves into deeper parts of my liquidity. And you can think, okay, well, you're buying the token on the way down, and so you're going to be losing money, but the fees are good enough that it should offset that sum. And at some point we would expect it to pump back up. And in doing so, capitalizing on the fees and getting back into profit, that's where we may close it out. And so we can actually see here, if we're looking live on Ultra LP, that we're actually in profit $5. And so even though we're down a little bit on the overall TVL, we're earning enough in fees that we're actually still up $5. Let's see. Hector, hola, good morning. Fakir, hi, by the way. Yeah, what's up, man? You can ask a question before saying hi. It's no problem. How is your Decoder bot done? Decoder bot's done well. I haven't been running it as much just because of the state of the market. I wanted to have full control of my money. I love Sol Decoder bot. I still hold 3 Sol Decoders, and I'll plan on starting it up pretty soon, probably now that the market's starting to stabilize back a little bit. But I've like started it up a little bit. I can't remember when, but I ended up shutting it back down. Also, like maybe 2 weeks ago, there was just some bugs and stuff they were working through. So I wanted to make sure that happened before I put a significant amount of money in. I wanted to make sure that they fix some of those bugs. So I haven't been running it, but I do really like it, and I'll be starting it up soon, and I'll let y'all know how it's doing. Khalid said, what do you do on your Sol USDC pools? Do you do one-sided bid ask on the local tops or a different strategy? No, usually when I do Sol USDC pools, I just set up a 2-sided spot. It looks like Peach is coming back up here. Let me focus on this, and then I'll get back to answering some questions here. So I'm going to close this out, which you can see we were up 16 bucks. So we're starting to make more money, but it does look like it's potentially flipping here. So we bought some more here. You can see the MACD, RSI, everything looks like it's about to make a reverse. We can also just visually see that right here. And so we bought some more. So what we did was we closed out of our one-sided Sol bid ask. We bought some Peach. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to set up, we're on a 250 bin, which is 400%, which is pretty large. So we're going to do half bid ask. And this is what I call a hybrid bid ask spot strategy. So I'm going to set up half on a bid ask. And then once this goes through, I'm going to add back with spot. Sorry if I'm a little coughy and sneezy today. I'm still have some residual side effects from when I had the flu last week or last weekend / last week. So you can see I added the bid ask, and now I'm going to do the other half and add spot here. And this way I'll start earning fees right away. If for some reason the token never reaches the end here, I'll at least be earning fees here. And at some point, if I want to close it out, I can. Come on. There we go. All right, liquidity is added. You can see I didn't get the spot side in until a little bit later, so it's kind of got this little funky tail thing right there, but that's okay. It does look like we're seeing a reversal here on the way back up. We bought in here. It's already up a pretty good amount. And so we'll see if it continues upward and what it does here. We'll look for it to break above the previous high here. You can see that this low is higher than the previous low, so that's good. So we want to see this high break above this high to show that it's back into an uptrend and not just in a sideways trend. And then we'll also want to see, is it going to break above these previous highs here as well? It'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Jucifer, how do you add the MACD on Good Morning, Good Night? You just hit the little FX button right here. It may also say the word indicator because that's what this is. RSI and MACD are indicators. You just click that, and then you type in right here, MACD, MACD, and you just click it, and then it'll pop up. I wouldn't have like too many indicators because it takes up a lot of space, you know? And you want to have enough room for your chart, obviously. And then you can adjust it from there. What bin are you on? Peach 250 bin. I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping that this takes off. And so the goal is I'm kind of, you see I bought here and I sold here. I bought here again after it dipped and it looked like it was going to reverse back up. This is kind of a weak reversal here. I'm hoping that it'll strengthen and pick back up some more. The volume's still pretty good on it. So we'll see, but yeah, I'm hoping that this ends up breaking out, which is why I have the 250 bin. It's up, it's 430% is what I set it at. So that would put us at like over 5 mil market cap. I think, I'm not exactly sure, but I think it'd put us over 5 mil. I can't remember exactly where I got in. I could probably just look here, but 0.00041 or 45 is the. Yeah, it's going to put us way up here. All the way up here. Yeah, so both like closer to like 6 mil is where it'll put us at. You can see here it's the MACD crossed for a little bit and started to separate, but it looks like it might be crossing back down now. It's hard to tell. And so what I could do here is I could set up a two-sided spot now instead of this position here. If it is going to come down, that way I capture fees on the lower side as well. I could also sell where I just bought at to kind of break even because, or actually I guess I'd be up just a little bit from where I bought in at. But it's honestly hard to know. I have no idea what it's going to do. Like it's in the middle of a range and the MACD is like almost a straight line here. And so it's like, it actually looks like it might be trending back down, but honestly, it could do anything at this point. So basically what I did is I just closed out of my pool and then I'm just going to sit and wait and see. If I need to sell this, I will, or I may just do, like I said, I'll probably just set up a two-sided pool here. And so I'm actually just going to set up a two-sided spot. This is going to capture the most fees for me, being that it's a spot and two-sided. So we're going to capture it on both sides. Again, this is a small sizing. I don't recommend going in with a large amount on this coin. This is literally a 1.5 million market cap, so very, very low. You could, lose half of your money very quickly if it goes from 1.5 to like 750K, which can happen just like that. And so I am using a small sizing on this right now. Ultra LP tool looks great. I applied to be on the waiting list. Awesome, man. Hopefully I get some more codes soon that I can share on here. How long did you wait for? I didn't have to wait. They approached me and asked me if I wanted to use the tool for free because I have this and people can see me use it and stuff like that. It's a great way for them to market. And so they just gave me access to it. I also did give away 3 codes to people already. Yeah, let's see where it goes from here. This is interesting. I'm curious to see kind of what it does from here. Volume is around the same. It's been around like 150 to 175. So technically it's up a little bit on the 5-minute volume. So that's good. But like I said, it's very hard to know. We're looking, the RSI is smack dab at 50, which is like center range for it. We're looking at the MACD very close to the 0 line, and the lines are like almost touching, just like staying pretty flat. And on this chart, we're just seeing a lot of sideways motion right now. And so that's why I went ahead and set up the spot here, because I'm like, look, if it's going to stay sideways back and forth like this, at least I can earn some fees off of it and wait until it moves up. I'm also on a 255% bin. And so I kind of wish it was a 2%. I think it might be a little more efficient. But honestly, a lot of the liquidity was in this 5%. There's not much in the 2% pool. And so I wanted to make sure that I did capture a lot of the action. Oh, I still had a little more peach that for some reason didn't go through. I don't know how. But yeah, we're just watching it right now. Let me answer some questions here. Let's see. Does look like it's moving back up here, so that's a good sign. Let's see where Sol's at. This needs to refresh. 204. Yeah, Solana looks like it's about to make a move back up, which looks good. I'm curious about setting up a Sol USDC pool, doing a delta neutral or maybe like a slight Sol semi-long. 3x. Something along these lines. I'm not going to do it just yet, but I'm going to continue to watch it. Excuse me. Yeah, it's real interesting. I mean, look at this MACD. I mean, this line is just like flat. It doesn't know what it's going to do either. Again, volume's still kind of sitting between that 150 to 180K. Dipped a little bit there. Volume dipping, but still having like strong or still having more buys than sells, like we're seeing like right here, is usually will cause this sideways action. Normally that happens if there is, so like for instance, when tokens just launch or they catch a lot of steam, right? Like they'll pick up in a lot of volume. And so like they'll go up a lot in price, but at some point they come back down in volume, like a lot, but they can still move up in price again at some point. So it's like, just because there's a ton of volume, just because there's like a big drop in volume doesn't mean that the token's going to go down. Initially, normally it does. So like if it goes from very high volume to like 20 or 25% of what it was originally at, usually that's going to cause a dump because it's showing there's less people buying. But sell action also goes into volume numbers, right? And so usually the volume will dip some, and usually the price will dip some. And then as the volume kind of stabilizes out, it's finding kind of its new area of how much price action buys and sells it's going to get. Then it can decide, okay, is it now going to move up or down based on, sentiment or whatever. We do see volume dropping fairly significant. It's down to 100K right here, but you can still see there's slightly more buy action than sell action. So again, just not quite sure what it's going to do right now, but we're going to continue to watch. Solana is doing fairly well, starting to move up, which we can see like in both Fartcoin and ARK as they're both picking up. The reason that I have both Fartcoin and ARK is these are two coins that have a lot of like significant holders. And so you can see like blue chip here, 6.8% of people that own this also own other tokens that are considered blue chips. Fartcoin, 7.5%. Also, just a lot of the other numbers and stuff on this are good. Y'all know both of these coins. I've talked about ARK for a while. Fartcoin's one that's been around a while. They both dip less than a lot of other coins do in the market. And they usually come back first and stronger than the other ones. And so these are ones that I like to hold. I'll be DLMing these at some point as well. CAR, we've been watching. I'm curious to see what this does. It does look like it's dipping a little bit more here. But I'm curious to see at what point this might make a reversal as well. So we're still just watching that. Yeah, volume is still around 100K on the 5-minute, which again is down 30% from where it was just 5 to 10 minutes ago. And yet we can see that there's a lot of strong price action here on Peach, still more people buying. It does look like the MACD is starting to separate here. So it looks like it's finally chosen a decision to come up after sitting sideways. That's obviously a good sign for us. Let's see, we're at 205%. Now, because I set up this 50-50 pool, I do have less upside. Obviously, it was able to capture some of the downside as well while it was down, but I have much less upside. The range just isn't nearly as far. And so let me see. Yeah, it'll probably only get me up to roughly like 3.5 or 4 mil on the upside, which honestly I'm kind of okay with. I think that right now I'm earning more fees off of this, and I do think that we see it kind of sit more sideways with maybe a little bit more upward price action here. At some point, again, it could take off. If it looks like it's just like picks up a lot of volume and steam and upward action, then I might close this out and try to like set up a different pool or something. But as of right now, we're earning over 200%, doing well. So we're just going to keep holding this Peach pool. Let's see. Answer some questions here. Rug probability on good morning, good night is 100%. What, Peach? That's because it already rugged. So unfortunately, good morning, good night doesn't update if a token is already rugged. And so you can see here, it already did it here. And then the community picked it up, and which is why it's doing well now. And so unfortunately, sometimes coins will show that. Look, Fart Coin shows that. Rug probability 100%. We know Fart Coin's not a rug, right? And so sometimes it's tough because obviously it says that, but like you just need to look at context and see where it may have happened in the past if you ever do see something like this. My wait time was less than a week. Hey, JB, that's awesome, man. Hoping that more people get in. Thanks for trying to help us regular folks. Hey, man, I'm a regular folk as well, so trying to help myself out and just, chatting about what I'm doing on the way. I just look for coins which go sideways. Hey, if you can just find coins that just go sideways and earn tons of fees, that's the way to do it. Bro, JLP Sol with the curve strat prints like crazy. JLP Sol, what range are you using, KK3? So, for example, I have Fartcoin Sol Pool on Meteora. So your strat is if it goes nearly out of range, you change the coins back to a 50-50 position and open up a new position. On Fartcoin Sol, if you're holding it long term and you're good collecting more, then yes, that's what I would do. Please, how long will I have to wait for the Ultra? I have no idea, Chokma. The Ultra LP team is the only one that can answer that for you. Can you please tell me how and where it's best to find tokens to DLMM? Where do you check which token is profitable to enter? Yeah, I use Good Morning, Good Night. I use Twitter, and then I use inside of my Discord, and that's pretty much it. They added a new icon. The yellow people next to the name CA pump icon represent CTO. Oh, this right here. Perfect. CTO community takeover. There you go. So you can see, even though it has this, it was taken over, right? And so you can see the same thing happened with Fartcoin. It shows 100%, but it was community taken over. That's cool. I'm glad they added that. Yeah, exactly. Solana, GE. How can we get access then? Check out, they're slowly letting people in because they can't, they're wanting to test it and everything to make sure that I can handle it. So if you're on the wait list, you just wait. You can see after setting up our new position, you can see Ultra LP is showing that we're up $451, which is nice. It's got some good price action right now. Volume has picked back up just a little bit on the 5 minutes, so that's good to see. Now it's going to be testing here. At the end, this will be the point in which it's interesting to see, is it going to break through this and continue up, or is it going to bounce off of this and come back down? How many cycles have you experienced in crypto? Too many, honestly. I probably have some gray hairs in this beard from all the different cycles. I've been in crypto for 3 years and 3 months. So I was in when Sol was 130, 140, maybe even a little higher, 150 or something originally, after it had come down from hitting its all-time high of like 250 something. And I had gotten in, and then it was what was it? It was in 2021, or was it the end of 2020? Have I been in crypto 4 years? I don't remember. Anyway, I've been through a lot of cycles. So I literally rode Solana from 140 something all the way down to $8 and all the way back up to where we are now. I've been through that whole thing. So Peach is looking good. Let's see if it breaks through here. That'd be a good sign. Honestly, I'm kind of sad that I set it up like this. I'm trying to decide if I want to readjust this or not. I also am holding a little bit, not much, but I'm holding a little bit of Peach on the side, which I accidentally did, to be honest. But I'm earning over 325% right now. And so if it looks like it's going to break above this, I might just close the pool out, let it ride up, and then sell it higher. We've made good fees. And I might as well capitalize on that price movement. So let's see what it does. If it's going to break back down, then I'll just hold and I'll let it sit in range and I'll earn some more fees. But I think it has a good chance. Volume has picked up a lot. And we're seeing the MACD increase in the lines are getting further apart. And then it looks like this. If this candle closes out here, that's a good sign. It still has two other zones here that has to break through, though. And so there's a good bit of resistance for it to get above this. But the fact that the volume has increased so much is a good sign. It's now over 200K. It was just at 100K, again, just like 10 minutes ago. So we'll see what that looks like. But we're good with it just continuing to range. So let's bring some of these lines up here. I got a lot of lines, but it's interesting doing this on such a low market cap coin. I honestly haven't done this in a while. This is one that's got some good action, though. Let's see. What is the pool you're in right now? For Peach, a 250 bin step, 5% pool. Car was an amazing DLMM. Yeah, I missed it, unfortunately. Also, is it a good time to enter? It's not a good time to enter this. I would wait for Peach to break down further. Find a good support and move back up, start to move back up before getting in. Or if it does look like it's going to end up breaking out above these here, then maybe a good time to get in as it's breaking out. Hector, I think Conmel means 4-year cycles. Well, crypto moves much quicker than 4-year cycles. So I've only been in one 4-year cycle if I've been in crypto 3 to 4 years. Can you explain more in detail what your algorithm is when you start your trading session? What do you do to find a good coin to enter to DLM into if it's not too difficult? Yeah, I mean, I've explained this before. I also have videos on this. You can go check out my ultimate DLMM guide. I talk about my entries and my exits and all that kind of good stuff. It's tagged on my Twitter profile, so you can go right here. You can see I talk about the basics. I talk about how I select pools and kind of the key info about that. It's advanced strategy breakdown and then charting my entries and exits. This could be updated a little bit. This was back December 17th. I do use MACD a little bit more than I used to. And so that is one thing to consider. But ultimately, yeah, so basically all I do, I also use Vector because I can see people trading and stuff on there. But I look in the Discord. That's actually the first place that I look. I see what are other people talking about, because coins that people are talking about, usually they've kind of already filtered or done the research on, and then I don't have to do as much. And so I will look at that and I'll kind of ask people like, hey, what's going on? What's cooking? See what people are talking about, look at our Discovery channel, things like that. And then based on that, I'll then move over to Good Morning, Good Night. I go to the 5-minute or the 1 hour under trending, and I do that with volume. Because things that have super, super high volume, like JL Stool might be making a little bit of a comeback here. things that have super high volume are things that are going to be interesting for me to get in. Now, there's going to be a bunch of random things like this P Prince thing and this HPUG thing that are probably nothing because they're very young in age. Same for this like Mooch, ARG, things like that. There's going to be a bunch of different coins that are just trash. And so, again, the way I filter through that is just by clicking on them and looking. And then eventually I'll find one that I like. Or maybe it's a coin that I already know about that's like making a comeback or doing better than I expected. And so then I'll click on it, look at it. Once I get to the coin, I then chart it. And so like Jail Stool, for instance, came down a ton. And so it looks like it might be making a move back up. And so basically I would just say, okay, this is where it bottomed out at. And I would chart it like this. I would look at, all right, where's the previous high? It looks like it broke above the previous high. So that's a good sign. It dipped back down here and it looks like it might be making a move back up. There's actually a lot of room for it as it would move back up here to go from potentially 45 to 60 mil. Not saying it will, it just could. But then I also want to look at the MACD here. It worked its way back from like a pretty low range here on the MACD and on the RSI back above center here. And you can see the lines here touched a lot, but ultimately it has moved back up. And so I might be interested in getting this one. I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. Or if I buy some, I'll just buy like a little bit right now, and then we'll come back to it and see. I'm just going to buy like $5 worth and we'll see where it goes from there. If we come back to Peach, it looks, yeah, I mean, it's most likely going to dip more. It's going to come down here. If it dips below this, I'll just end up closing it out. But I'm hoping that it'll come back down here to the 1.4 mil and bounce back off and come up. It's still fairly close to center here. It's not like this was like a big pump for it. You can see here, it's not very high. Whereas you can see like here, it got up pretty high on the MACD. The RSI is still fairly center as well. And so I expect it to come down a little more. I'm hoping that it just bounces off of this. It could come all the way down to this one as well, 1.2, but I prefer it to bounce sooner than that, which I think it will, but we'll have to see. We'll come back to it. I'm interested to see what Jailstool does. It actually looks like the MACD might be crossing for it to come back down. So I'm going to sell that 5 SOL I just bought. I don't think it's probably a good time to buy. But we'll see. We'll keep watching it. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but we'll keep watching because it does look like it could make a move back up. But the MACD is showing that it might dip back down first. There's times where I look at stuff and I'll buy into it just to kind of see. Wait to see what it's going to do. And it looks like it bounced right here off of its previous high that it had just made. And so if it would have come up back above this, then that would have been a good sign and I would have kept holding. Maybe I would have bought more even. But as of right now, I don't want to stay in that. Good morning, good night is game changing. Thanks for showing it here. Yeah, absolutely. If y'all are using it, please use my referral code if you're making trades over here. It makes it super easy to get in and out of stuff. And I get a little kickback from y'all doing that. I appreciate it. Peach is printing. I just put in $10 and it still prints. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Chokma, I can't just take that CA. If you just post a bunch of CAs like that, I'm not just going to check them all. Vito, do you have any info about Meteor airdrop? I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. Like there's nothing confirming anything. I imagine that it'll be towards the end of Q1, worst case, beginning of Q2, but I think it'll probably end up coming in April, maybe. That's my guess. But again, that's a complete guess. It could come in March. Excuse me. It could be March or it could be like June or July or August. You know, it's like they haven't given an exact time. But I imagine it probably won't be that late, but we'll have to see. There's no need for them to like rush into it, right? Yeah, Jailstool is interesting. It's doing a ton of volume. Jailstool is, so it's like it's doing almost 1 million on the 5 minute. So that's a good sign. We'll continue to watch it and see because for it doing so much volume, honestly, there's not a ton of volatility on it right here, which is a little bit surprising. Peach looks like it is going to maybe bounce off this 1.4 mil support here. not positive, but it looks like it's trying to here. You can see it in the MACD. It looks like it's weakening a little bit, and you can see here it looks like it might be. We might see a little more downward action closer to the 1.4 before it comes up, or it could just straight reverse, but I expect it to kind of trickle a little bit here as it kind of makes its way up. Can you check big balls? Sure. Man, it's not a good sign that I don't see it very high up on the good morning, good night chart. Might need to step away to blow my nose real quick. Wow, this looks very inorganic. My initial thought looking at this, it looks like there's some people buying pretty large chunks and then doing medium-sized sell-offs here. Looks like a little bit of, manipulation here. I mean, like, it's not normal to see these size candles like this and then, like, see them on buys and then, like, again, seeing these very large sell candles. It's very large, very large. Like, look at Peach, like, in comparison. Like, again, we're more zoomed in on Peach, but, like, the candles on this are, like, decently sized, but, like, for the most part, you don't see a ton of that. Now you see it here, but this is where the rug happens, so it makes sense, right? Which again is bad. It just looks very what I would call choppy. It's also in a pretty heavy downtrend right now, which isn't a great sign. So I'm not sure. Can you check CAR? Yeah, I just looked at it. It's right here. It might be making a reversal. I'm interested in CAR long term. I don't know that it'll do well long term. I am interested to see how it responds here, but right now it's not doing the best. What would you suggest for people who are with less amount, like $100 to $200? Nikhil, you have to be careful with $100 to $200. I would be putting my money in something like ARK, and I would DLMM this. So like, just don't worry about trying to like earn a ton really, really fast. I would maybe do, if you have like $200, I'd maybe put like $100 into ARK. So you would do like 50 into ARK and $50 of SOL into a pool. Like, again, like not necessarily right now. You could do it right now, but maybe wait for a little bit of a dip. And I would set up like a 50-50 SOL pool and basically just collect fees on it, wait for it to come up. Even if you're only up like $5 or $10 on it, I would then close it out. And then I would maybe wait for another dip and like keep doing that on coins like ARK or Fartcoin. Just watch the market and try to earn just a little bit here and there until you can build up to like $500. But I would do that with $100, and then I would leave another like $50 to $100 just off to the side and wait. And anytime there's like a new coin like Jail Time, whenever it came out, I would try to use that to maybe get into something like Jail Time. Not right now, but when this launched, like just wait and be patient. There's coins like this that launch often and they just take off, right? And if you can just wait and then get into them at the right time, you can add that $50 or whatever and turn it into a couple hundred. And so I would look to do that, but I'm not saying to just like gamble $50 on like every new like hot coin. Just there's clear opportunities like this or like CAR, right? That like come every now and then. And it's like, just look for those and be patient. That's the best thing that you can do, and just build up to $500. Once you do that, I would take half of that $500 and put it into something like a SOL USDC pool, something real stable, allow it to grow over time and just keep rebalancing it. And then use that $250 that you had on the side to kind of do what you did to earn in the beginning. Take like, again, like 100 or 150 of it, and DLMM something like Fartcoin or ARK or something that's a little more stable. And then use like another $50 to $100 to just wait to try to catch coins every now and then, which may only happen once a week, or something like that. But wait for those coins that are like a little more obvious and will take off, and try to capitalize on that and try to take your profits where you can. No fears. Thanks for your reply. You mentioned Vector. I found an invite code and just started using it. How does it help you trade? Is it something like good morning, good night? Yeah, pretty much is just like good morning, good night. I just use it because it's mobile. Its charting's really good. Like it's got really fast charts and stuff like that. Obviously you can buy and sell. It also shows you what other people are buying. And That way you can like follow behind people that may be making good trades. You just need to filter out who you're following, and even the trades that they make, you need to filter. Hey, Token, do you think Buzz is going to recover? Maybe. Buzz and Grift both have been struggling. Are you looking into Pain? It will be big this week. Yeah, I've been watching that. I'm curious. Do we know when it's dropping? I did want to look more into that, but I do think that Pain could be really, really good. I mean, it looks like Buzz is recovering decently here. Both Buzz and Grift are kind of doing a similar thing. Grift is like doing slightly better than Buzz, so Grift is the one that I like slightly better, but I think both of them will recover some as the market recovers. I just don't think they'll recover as well as things like ARK and Fartcoin. How will you DLM Pain? I'm not sure yet, man. I need to look into it more. If you bought a coin at a high market cap and then it dips 40%, do you still DLM or you just wait for it to come back? It depends on what I think the market's going to do falling. Sometimes it can be good to DLM it while it's down because you can earn some fees. But at some point, if you don't adjust for it to then be able to come back up higher, then it'll end up moving out of your range and you'll basically just have sold the token for way less than what you bought it for. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just set up like a one-sided sold bid ask on like a pretty large bin step. Like a 250 bin or something. And then I'll collect a little bit of fees while it stays in the bottom of the range, and eventually it'll move up. If it moves up pretty aggressive, sometimes I'll close out of the pool and just hold it and let it go up some and then remake a new pool. But you kind of have to it just depends on the market and what it's doing. How do you feel about UFD? Reckon it can recover? I think UFD could. Let's see where it's at, honestly. I'm not sure where it's at right now. Oof. That's lower than I expected it to be. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of in a similar boat to like Grift and Buzz as far as its bounce back. I mean, just look at Fartcoin. Like Fartcoin came down a bunch, but like it just bounces back so much stronger. Same thing with ARK. I mean, look at this. Look at this bounce back. But then if you look at something like UFD, it's like it's bounced back, but it's like it hasn't bounced back nearly as strong. You know what I mean? Like it came down to 30 mil. Now it's at 41 mil, right? It's like it's just Grift, Buzz, UFD. They just haven't bounced back as well. I do think that it could do well long term. This has bounced back slightly better than Grift and Buzz. But again, I honestly just don't know. There's a lot of coins out there that have done well in the past, and just not all of them are going to come back in the same way. And so the two that I'm kind of betting on right now are Fartcoin and ARK. I think Grift is one that I might get back into as well, but I'm just going to kind of have to keep watching and see where it goes. Peach is doing really well. We're watching it potentially try to break back out again. Again, this is like pretty clear resistance here. It bounced here, and now it's testing it again. And so if it breaks above here, that's a really, really good sign that it's going to break out even further because it's breaking through this resistance. And this is clearly a pretty large sell area that people have been selling off at. It does have a little bit more resistance that it has to go through up here before it really breaks out. But this first one breaking out here will be a really, really good sign. Did I sell all my Grift? Yeah, I sold like before the large dip. I guess when Grift was maybe around 50 mil, ARK was around 250. Yeah, or no, right here. This is where I sold ARK. Around 228. Well, actually, I guess I probably sold it somewhere up here, maybe closer to like the 250 mil. At some point in the dip, I sold a bunch of it because I saw that it was going to keep falling. So like I stabled up a lot of my Sol. I sold a lot of my ARK. I pretty much sold all my meme coins at one point, stabled up a bunch of stuff. And then once the market fell down all the way to like 190-ish, I unstabled a bunch of stuff and I waited a little while, but now I've rebought back into ARK and I've rebought back into Fartcoin. And I'm continuing to watch them there. It does look like Peach, it's bouncing again here. Let's see where we're at on Peach on profit. We're up $800, which is pretty good. So like, if I want to get greedy, I can just keep holding this. The volume is like still fairly good on it. And so the likelihood of it just kind of continuing to range here is high. But at some point, this could come back down here, and then I'll end up needing to close it out, and I'll be in much less profit than I am now. And so again, just kind of depending, oh, it's up to almost 1,000. Yeah. So depending where it's at on the pool, like sometimes it makes sense for me to just hold it. Other times it makes sense to go ahead and sell it. I am again holding a little bit of Peach on the side still. And so I could just sell some of it. Let's see what it does here. It's still just sitting sideways. Like you can see where I bought in here. So like if I sell it up here, like I'm making some profit on that initial Peach, but also I'm making money on DLMing and stuff. And so, yeah, I have like roughly 1 SOL of Peach right now that I could sell. Yeah, I'll just sell that and then I'll keep DLMing. So that way I made a little money off the buy and the sell here. Not a ton, but I did make some, and then we'll continue to see where it goes. Checking my other wallet. I don't think I have any Peach on my other wallet. No, I just have Fartcoin Sol. And then I have a DeFi Tuna pool that I had set up as well. That's earning like 2.5%, which is really, really good. I do want to, I'm going to keep watching this, but I do want to move over to DeFi Tuna. Let's see. Oh, Jailstool is seeing a lot of price action right now. Dang, I zoomed way out on this thing. Huh. Yeah, Jailstool has a ridiculous amount of volume right now. It could be good to DLMM. It's just also a little bit risky with the value there. If I thought it was going to dip down pretty hard here, which it could, it'd be a really good one-sided Sol bid-ask option. I'm just not sure what it's going to do. I could set one up in hopes of that because there is like just an immense amount of volume. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just like, I'm not sure that it's going to come down, but the fact that it could come down and I could capitalize on that. I think I'm going to do 100 bin 2% pool. So again, it could just like launch up from here and I'll make no money, but like I'm just going to take a chance by like I have some Sol sitting around. So like I might as well just set this up. I'm not sure why Meteor is going so slow here. And so we're just going to add a one-sided Sol position. We're going to do 15 Sol into a bid ask like this. And then we're actually going to get a little aggressive, and we're going to make this a hybrid. So we're going to put another 10 Sol in, but do it in spot. So it'll be slightly more of a bid ask position than a spot position. So we're going to come in spot. We're going to do another 10 Sol like this just to be able to start earning, just in case it doesn't come down as much as we think it is. That way we'll start earning some fees in the early part of this, but most of our liquidity will be used further down the line. Again, I'm not really sure what it's going to do here, but being that it had a pretty big jump in volume here and some big buys, I kind of expect it to retrace. But we'll see. It's hard to fully know what it's going to do. So we're just kind of setting up something so that potentially we can earn off of it. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can get one of the co-founders of DeFi Tuna up here to talk as I go through creating a DeFi Tuna pool to talk with me. It does look like it's dipping here, so that's a good sign for us. Let's see what Sol's doing. Sol's just kind of chilling as well. I think this is a good time to set up a DeFi Tuna pool. All right, let me see. Have you seen the index by the Goose Dow, which indicates the DLMM market conditions? Quite good to know when not to DLMM. I haven't seen that. Can you tell me where I can find that? All profits I'm putting in DeFi Tuna. Thanks for another alpha, bro. Yeah, absolutely, man. Did you sell all your grift? Yeah, I sold it a while back. Hey, just sliding in to say thanks for the great content here and on Discord. Hey, Will, thanks, man. Glad you're here. Quick question for a play like Peach. How do you approach taking / compounding fees? Honestly, I'm not doing a lot of compounding because I don't expect to be in Peach like for hours. I probably will only be in it maybe as short as another 5 or 10 minutes if it ends up moving up here, or as long as maybe 30 minutes to another hour. And so for me to compound my fees in doesn't really make a ton of sense. I mean, it could. Let me see what the fees are at right now. Hey, Risky, I've talked about screening tokens like 3 times already on the stream. I'm not going to talk about it again. You can go back and watch it. I also do have a guide you can see here, the Ultimate DLMM guide that talks about entries and exits and things like that. And so I'd recommend go checking out my Ultimate DLMM guide and watching through the videos. That'll help you out a lot as well. Peach is ranging really well. You can see here that it's in an upward trend. We're seeing higher highs and higher lows, but it's staying like fairly sideways. So this is like ideal scenario for a DLMM where it's like it's moving sideways but slightly up. Like if it could just do that forever, that's perfect. It gives us time to kind of make adjustments and things like that. But also like overall, we feel pretty confident in our pool. It's doing well. We're earning a lot in fees. Yeah, we're around $900 in profit right now on the Peach pool. All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can get one of the co-founders up for DeFi Tuna. I'm going to get off of UFD. We're watching Jail Stool. It did come down a little bit, which is good, but I think it's starting to move back up now. You can see we're earning some decent fees as it came down. But if it ends up moving back up, we'll move out of range, which again, like the benefit of this is that there's much less risk in losing money. As it moves down, we're earning a good bit in fees. We've already earned like $20 here. But also the downside is that if it just pushes back up out of range, we're left with our Solana. We've made a little bit in fees, but ultimately we're not really gaining anything on the upside. We're just kind of betting on the downside here. We'll continue to see what it does. I'm printing 540% on spot Peach single sided. Hey, that's amazing. Question: can you trust proper technical analysis on coins that have been around for such a short amount of time? No, I mean it's good to I think on shorter term coins, it doesn't make sense to say, well, I'm just not going to chart it at all. But at the same time, you have to understand that it's a short term coin, and especially on lower market cap coins like Peach. And it's honestly, at any point, this could just absolutely dump. At any point, this could absolutely rip up. And there's no way to be able to do a TA on this that's going to be super confident. Again, that doesn't mean that I don't do it. You can see it is bouncing. It literally bounced off of the ranges that I put here. So it is following my TA in this regard. You can see here, it's resisted off of the same spots. It's following, as I see the MACD moving, it's pretty predictable. And so in this instance, it's working well, but that doesn't mean it always does. And at any point it can break out of this. Right. And so the lower market cap something is, the newer a coin is, the less you want to trust in the TA for sure. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm hoping that we can get the co-founder of DeFi Tuna on. I'm watching some of these things that are all doing fairly well, and so I need to blow my nose real quick. It's getting to me. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Still fighting some nasal stuff, some congestion, and also a cough a little bit from my previous flu. You use TF 1 minute means like scalping. Yeah, I mean, I'm using it on the 1 minute because this is such a low market cap coin. I'll also do 1 minute sometimes on things that I'm trying to watch a little more granularly, like on Jailstool here. But a lot of times I'll do like a 5 minute. Excuse me. I don't know why. Sometimes it just saves, but you can see like on Fartcoin, on ARC, I have 5 minute. But when I open up a new token, if whatever I've been on, like if I'm on a 1 minute, then it'll automatically be in a 1 minute. It's interesting to see here that this isn't technically a breakout, so I'm curious to see that it looks like the MACD again is starting to widen a little bit, so we might see it break out here. Volume's picked up a good amount on it. So let's go back over here. Looks like my Jailstool, yeah, moved back out of range, and it looks like it's moving back up here. So we'll just close out of that pool. Again, we just made a little bit on it. I'm not mad. It's free money. If it would have gone down more, we would have made more. But look, we made what, 27 bucks there. So nothing wrong with that. We'll close out of this pool now that it's moving back up. We could buy some, and if we think that it's going to end up going up more, which it looks like it might. So we might end up just closing out of the pool and buying some here. But I want to wait. I'm not going to buy it yet, so we'll come back to it. I want to wait to see what it does. It looks like technically it did break out here above these previous resistances, but it wasn't a super strong breakout. So we'll see if this ends up coming back down and moving up or not. It's continuing to range well though. Peaches. Let's see where we're at. We're at 1,156 bucks on 4,300 deposited. And so yeah, our P&L is 22% right now, which is pretty good. I'm not sure why this and this is different. Real-time P&L, profit and loss. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, Jailstool came back down. I guess we could have left our pool open, but we'll just let it sit for now. Peach just broke above these highs, which is a good sign. It's likely that it'll go back up even if it does dip, which it's doing. Or looking like it's trying to do. But you can see continually, if I draw, I don't normally draw these. I don't get all crazy with the lines, but you can see here that like these are all the lows here, and you can see there's higher lows showing that it's an uptrend. And I can move this same line over to the top side as well. And you can see the same thing here, right? From here, higher highs on the way up. But there's a lot of resistance for it to break through here. So I'd be curious to see if it's able to do that. It looks like it's going to come back down a little bit first. But again, as long as it continues to show higher lows than previously, then that's a good sign that it's still in an uptrend. Volume's still really high on it. Again, so we're, let's see what our peach is at. Can you show how to use MACD? Yes. Sorry, sir. If you use TF1, how long is it you're holding on average? Yeah, normally when I'm doing like a 1 minute chart on something like Peach, I mean, I'll hold the token as long as it's doing well, like I will. But if it looks like it's not going to do well anymore, or it does really well, either way, I'm closing out. And so honestly, a lot of times on coins like this, it can be as short as 10 minutes and as long as like an hour. It's very rare that it's longer than that. But that's usually how long I'm doing this for. Yeah, so MACD is right here. RSI is right here. RSI is basically like a value thing. So basically it's telling like the short, easy version is that when this line is low, like below 35, but even as low as like 30, 25, 20, somewhere in there, it's saying it's a good value. Like it's a good value buy. When it's high, it's saying, hey, this is a bad value. Basically, it's overbought. And when it's way down, it's undersold, right? So this gives you a good idea. If it's near center, then it's about where it should be as far as what it's valued at. That's kind of the idea of RSI. It's relative strength index is what it stands for. All the indicators are under the FX, or it'll just say the word indicator, depending on what chart you're using. And then right here, you just type in MACD, click it. For RSI, you type in RSI, and you can see relative strength index right there. Once you click it, it pops up. You can adjust the size of it. So you want to make sure that it's at a good size, not too big. Usually I keep the RSI smaller because it's easier to see. And then I keep the MACD a little bit bigger. And then, of course, I want my chart to be the biggest to be able to read through what it's doing. It's important to, when looking at the MACD, to see this center line, right? And so I call this like the zero line. And so this is kind of where you see a lot of trend reversals happen, but it's the zero line. When something's near the zero line and you see a trend reversal, I'm usually less confident that it's going to be a big trend reversal, right? So we're looking for trend reversals here, right? So you can see here on this one, like this is a pretty, like came up really, really high. And then you see the reversal happening. Normally when it's very drastic in one direction, it's going to be drastic in the other direction, which you can see here, came way up, came way down. But then you can see here the reversal happened and it's pretty close to the zero line. So you can see here, like it actually wasn't that significant. It wasn't until it started to make a really high move back up that it became significant. And then again on the way back down. And you can see here now it stayed very close to the zero line. And you can see there's not a ton of like huge reversals that have happened here. A lot of the times that the lines cross. And again, when the lines cross, that means that the trend is reversing. And so you can see that a lot of them have just stayed very close here. And you can see that's why we see this sideways action. Close to the zero line, you don't see a ton of movement here where the lines are separating a ton. And so I would expect it to continue to do this until at some point it ends up making a reversal a trend move in either the upward or downward direction. And so it's good that it's slightly above that line, the center line. It's showing, again, that it's in a slight upward trend here, but that it keeps kind of shifting between the two as we watch this. So the goal will be to wait for it to make a big move upward or downward to then be able to make a decision on where we want to go. Again, at any point, I can close out of this. We're in profit. Obviously, the higher I close it out, the better. Once I've let it kind of dip down like this, it's better to run its course to see where it's going to go. At any point, I could say, okay, I'm happy with the 20% that I had earned off of this, or the 22%. It's probably closer to 20 now, or 25. I guess it's even higher now because I've been earning fees. And I can take this and go, right? 25% is amazing. It's a fairly small sizing that I entered into, which I did because it's a low market cap coin, right? Again, at any time, this could shift drastically. And so we want to make sure that we're not putting a lot into it. It's easy to say, like, see that 25% and be like, oh, I could have put in 10,000 or way more, right? And again, whatever sizing you use, for me, like a few thousand is pretty small. And so for me, like, I could say, oh, I could have put in 10 and then I'd be making way more money, right? But again, you have to manage your risk. And this is one that's fairly risky, even though it's a very healthy looking chart and hasn't played out super risky. It still is. It's a low market cap coin. It's one that we want to watch and be careful of. So that's why we have a small sizing into it. Rick D, sorry, just catching up. I see you have a jail stool LP open. If you have, say, 5K token, what would you recommend I do with the token if I believe it might still claim to 100 million market cap, but want to earn some fees? I had a jail stool pool open. It was for it to come down, which if I would have kept open, it would actually be doing really well right now. I could set up another one. If you think it's going to do well, then I would set up a one-sided SOL bid ask all the way up to 100 million market cap, which would roughly be 60% up of where it is now. And so that would be like a 100 bin pool would probably be pretty good, or an 80 bin, probably 100. And you just set up a one-sided SOL bid ask, which basically means as it moves back up to 100 mil, it's going to be selling it on the way up, but you'll also be earning fees as it's volatile on the way up as well. That's how I would do it if I thought it was going to reclaim 100 million market cap. Any codes to get access to Ultra LP? I do not have any codes. They're pretty selective with them. Matters to Matt. Thank you. Hey, no problem, man. Hop says, say you're an unlucky dude like me. What are negatives of almost always setting a downside bid ask on low cappers besides not making anything if it goes up? But seriously, I mean, like, I wouldn't do it on like a low cap like this because the likelihood of it going down and continuing to go down is much higher. Or sorry, this is Jail Stool. On Peach, I wouldn't do it. Peach looks like it's breaking out again, so that's a good sign. But on something like Jail Stool, it's a good one. Again, like normally if a token's done really well and you start to see it retrace, like it's moved up a ton, like Jail Stool did here. Normally this is going to have a pretty large retrace. And so now normally they're not this large of a retrace, but they do have one. So like you normally want to wait after something's moved up a ton for it to come down like a good 20-30% and then set up a sole one-sided bid ask for it to potentially come down more. And so obviously the downside of that is that if it goes down further outside your bid ask, then you'll end up losing money if you don't close it out. But the key is if you catch a token that has a very high volume like Jail Stool did, then even on its way down, like even though you're buying it on the way down, the fees you'll make will offset that. And so like in this instance, this is how I would have played this out if I would have been watching this, which it was the weekend, so I wasn't. But you can see here it made a big increase. It came back down, came way back up here, but it's still showing that it resisted going up any higher and started to move down. Once it came down to like somewhere in this area here, again, around the 120, 130 range, I probably would have set up a one-sided sold bid ask. It's come down a lot. It looks like it's continuing to come down, but the volume is still crazy high, right? You can see these numbers. The volume's really, really high. And so in that instance, I would set it up. As it comes down like this and comes up, it's ranging, but I'm earning fees along the way. And then as it moves back up here is probably where I would close it back out. So I've made a ton off of that. And then as it comes up, I'm going to be way in the profit and I'm going to close it out. Now, if I don't close it out here, at some point, again, maybe I'll ride it back down and I'll be making a lot of fees along the way. And then I wait for a pump back up like this again. And then maybe I'll sell it here. So even though I'm selling it lower than where I got in, I would have made a lot of fees. And after it moves back up, the fees I would have made would be worth a lot more and I would sell here. So even in big dips like this, there's always some little pumps that come back up. And that's where you want to sell whenever you're doing something like a bid ask. Peach is doing great. I think I'm just going to hold Peach. Honestly, like, I don't know. Like, could Peach go to like 20 or 30 million? It could. But I'm just playing the short-term profit game here. And so the fact that it broke out here is a really good sign. It broke out above these highs here. Obviously, it went higher before it rugged earlier. But this is a good sign of where it's at. And so I think I'm just going to continue to hold this and earn fees. And then at some point I'll close it out. Or if it just pushes out of my range, honestly, I'll just be happy with that. Like we've made enough money right now. We've probably made like 30%. Let's see. This needs to update. Oh, it's updated up here at 1600. Let me refresh it. There it goes. 37% is where we're at right now. So we could close it out. And again, be really, really good. But I'm just going to let it keep ranging a little bit. Like, honestly, it's showing a lot of strength. The volume has picked up a ton. And so I think it will see a dip down a little bit here, but ultimately I think we won't see it dip super hard. It might end up coming back well. We'll see. Even if it does come down hard, we'll still be in good profit. So we're just going to keep holding. We're earning 370%, 385%. And so, we're up high enough now that we can risk, it coming down more. Ideally, again, if you don't have a ton of funds and you're like DLMing and trying to grow your stuff, I would sell here 100%. This is way up. Again, 30% is fantastic. I would sell here. But because I do have a little more funds, I want to, I'm going to be a little more risky and hold this and try to get a little bit more out of it before we close it out. Yeah, Farcoin's doing well. ARC's doing well. Solana is ranging well around 202 here. Okay. Co-founder of DeFi Tuna is doing an interview, so they're not able to come on. No problem. While we're waiting for Peach to figure out what it's going to do, which looks like it's breaking out again here, Jail time came down. This would have been really good, honestly, if I would have been kept holding my bid ask. This would have been really good because it came down really well. Just barely came out of our range and then came back down again. We'd be earning pretty good on jail stool right now, especially with how high the volume is. The volume has dipped down a good bit, which makes sense that it's dipping because that's the case. We'll keep watching and see. I'm curious if it's going to come back down to this point here. It's always good to be patient. Like, you don't need a FOMO at something potentially doing well. If you're just always patient and you just wait for something to like bottom out or really like hit a pretty low number and say, okay, maybe now is a good time, right? Like, look at jail stool this whole time. There's people who were probably like watching this, and as it came down below 200, like, oh, this is a great buy. And then people at, 140, 130 mil, this is a great buy. 100 mil, this is a great buy. Oh, it dipped below 100. It's at 80 or 70. This is a great buy, right? But look, it's come all the way down. You can always be more patient. Like I promise, you can always be more patient before getting into something, right? You can see I bought and sold very quickly right here. I lost like $30 or something, but I wasn't sure what it was going to do. But here, again, just it's at the lower end of its zone. It's kind of ranging for a while. If we think it's going to end up moving back up, it might be a good time to get in. But I think it's good to potentially DLMM something like this with high volume. But again, we're just going to be patient and wait because the volume on it's dipped a lot. It's possible that it keeps falling more here. And so we want to wait for it to either show it's going to break back up and show some strong strength, or if it's going to stay down for a little while, in which we just want to wait. Peach is doing really well. Good morning. Joined late today. Did you cover virtuals yet? I have not. I haven't talked about anything virtuals. I am about to talk about DeFi Tuna though. I think that I'm going to set up a range. Let's pull this up. Solana's doing really well. It came up, came back down. It looks like it might be moving back up some. We're on the 5-minute chart on Sol. But if we look at this, like it's come down to the 196 here, and even down to like 193. But for the most part, over the last few days, it stayed above these. So like maybe I would, I want to pick what I think it's gonna do here. Like it's more in an upward trend now. And so I'm okay having like less downside. The likelihood of it coming down to 196 or so is less, but that's probably where I want to put my the lower end of my my range here. I probably want to have it around 196.5. And then on the high side, you can see that where am I at here? Sol came all the way up to like 209, a little bit above that. And you can see it came up to like 207 here. And so if I think it's, again, in an upward trend, I might want to have a little more upside than the 209, the 2010 kind of range. But it doesn't need to be crazy high, and we want to earn a good amount of fees. It's possible that it could go way up from here. I mean, we've seen Sol go from like 203 to 210 or so, like fairly quickly. And so we don't want to miss out on the potential upside. So I think we're going to go around 214 here. This still shows at a 3x that we're earning 2% on the 24-hour. We also, I think like it's good to be delta neutral, meaning that you're betting against volatility. This basically is also as if like if it goes down, you're not getting hit as hard. But I am believing in Sol going up a little bit more right now. So I'm going to leave it at 50% here, which is actually a slight Sol long. I don't want to go like heavy on the Sol long in this direction. I'm just going to leave it at the 50% here. Then we want to set our limit orders, which I don't like swapping because it costs me money. I'm pretty on top of this, so I'll swap manually myself. And then I'm going to set the limit orders in a place that I'm comfortable with. We saw that 196.5 was the spot at which Sol dipped to. We also saw that it dipped down to 193. And so I want to leave a little bit of room here for it if it ever does go down to move back into my range. And then we're going to do the same thing on the top side. We're going to go 216.5. And so we're putting the limits just outside of our range. You can see that the liquidation zones are well outside of this. But this just gives us a little room for error to allow it to move back into our range if needed. I have my USDC and my Sol in here. It's all set up like this. And so I'm going to create my position. The goal of this is for this whole week to stay within this range. It may not. It may move out of this range. But this is how I want to set it up. By the way, it does look like Peach exploded out of above those resistances, which I thought it might do. Once it breaks above those initial resistances, that's a good sign that it's going to continue up, because you could see how hard it was for it to move up before that. All right, we created our pool on DeFi Tuna. You can see here that right now Sol in USDC is lending at 22.5% on Sol, and USDC is 17.64. It's a little high on Solana, so I'm hoping this will come down, except I'm actually okay with it if it doesn't, because I'm also lending Sol here. And I could lend a little bit more Solana as well if I want, which I'm going to. I'm going to lend 15 more Sol, so we can capitalize on that. It'll also bring this down like a little bit, not a lot. But if the utilization on this gets high, then it makes sense. And there's a little bit of cap for me to add to it. So we're going to do that. Perfect. All right, let's come back over to Peach. You can see Peach absolutely exploded. We also want to sell before this dip happens, because all of the Peach that we've collected, it just moved out of our range. All the Peach that we've collected is now worth a lot more as well. So that's important to try to capitalize on before it dips down too much. Obviously, the fees that we have are nothing compared to what we sold it for. You can check out our P&L, but we want to come to Peach over here, 100%. I actually want to reduce my slippage down to 2% here, and that's good. Yeah, so let's sell it before it gets too crazy. There we go. We sold there. Obviously, it came down a good bit here, so that's a good time for us to get out of it. I don't think I have any Peach on my other wallet. I just wanted to double check. No, I don't. I had already sold some. Okay. There we are. And there we go. 46.12% P&L on Peach. 46%. We watched it all happen live here too. I actually had just bought in here whenever I joined in on the stream, and we rode this thing and we watched our zones and, you know, decided to hold through this, and it ended up making a really good move up. It still could continue to do really well. This could go to 10 mil. You know, I have no idea what it's going to do, but we just choose to make good decisions on what we see here. We're not worried about FOMO or what's happening in the future. If I can earn 46% every single day just by doing this, I don't need to worry about the 5 or 10x potential, because there's a lot of coins that just aren't gonna make it that far, right? What about opening an anti-sawtooth pool here to catch the move down? Possibly. I don't really do anti-sawtooth. I know that it's like a really popular thing right now. If I were to set it up, I would just set up a one-sided Sol bid-ask on a higher range. I don't do a 20 bin 2% anti-sawtooth. I don't think it's necessary personally. I think it works well. People use it, but yeah. Did you search what Peach is? Vitor, yeah, I looked it up. And honestly, I wasn't really too worried about it, like about what it is, because of Dave Portnoy kind of picking it up and backing it. Where is he at? I forget where it was. Anyway, but I'd seen some people talking about it on Vector Peach, which is why I ended up getting into it. Kind of a revenge coin against David. And so that's why I thought it could do well. And again, it could still do really well. But I'm happy with the profits that I made off of it here. I mean, if I can make this much every single day, then, you know, we'll be doing really, really well. So. All right. So you can see I added some more. I basically took the profits that I just made and added it back into Sol, right? So we made money on it. We're now making 22.5% APY on our Sol. Just rolled it right back into here. We also had Sol USDC around 203. I had stabled some Sol. Again, not because I think that Sol's not going to do well, but because I wanted to set up a pool. And we went ahead and set one up on DeFi Tuna. And so I put it at the lower end of 196.57 here and the higher end of 214. So we're in a slight SOL long here. I'm believing that it's going to go up, and we're earning close to 2% on the 24-hour. I'm on a 3x. I've been doing only 3x max. 2x is the safest, in my opinion. Well, 0x obviously would be, but as far as using DeFi Tuna and getting increased yield. But 3x is a little more risky, but I think the yield is pretty nice on it. So that's why we do what we did here. We wanted to go a little wider on the range, and so that's why we're doing this. Any tool for auto take profit and SL other than HawkFi? Not right now, Andy Tan. If you saw a post that I had made asking people, or basically saying like, I talked to a lot of different teams. There's honestly a ton of different people that teams like AI agent teams, different bots, all sorts of different teams that have reached out to me asking to like pick my brain or download my brain into something. And it's been really good. I've had a lot of good conversations with a lot of teams, but nobody's quite there yet. And so I've thought about just building my own automated LP, which is much more than just auto compounding and auto rebalancing your pools, even though that is a big part of it. But also choosing strategies like that work, right? So imagine a bot that is able to, like, we would select what the bot's on, but ultimately we would find some really, really good strategies and have an automated bot that auto compounds and auto rebalances. It has risk management features built into it, things like that. And we've like found and adjusted the strategies just right to do really, really well. From anything as low as like 50% all the way up to even higher numbers, like 150% APY. And basically having multiple of these strategies so that people can determine the risk that you want to manage, right? Because there's still going to be risk involved. But basically you being able to just deposit into this pool of money or this vault and then have it managed for you essentially, right? And then you'd be able to pull out the return or if you want it, again, it would just auto compound into that. And so this is the idea of what I want to build. And so we'll see what that looks like. I'm looking into it now. I'm not promising or saying I'm going to do it. I want to make sure that it's done right if we do. But yeah, we'll see what that looks like. And so right now, HawkFi is the only one that does that. Camino also does some auto compounding and stuff. Peach, by the way, is just absolutely skyrocketed. I'll keep watching Peach. This is one where, like, in situations like this, I'm happy with the profit. But if it looks like it's going to like do really, really well, then what I can do is I can wait for there to be a dip, and I can either set up a SOL one-sided bid ask to capture it, or I can just wait for a dip to buy back in if I think it's going to continue to go up. The 5-minute volume, we were looking at it when it was around 100K, and then we were like, when it was at 200K, we're like, wow, the volume's high. Now the 5-minute volume's at 1 million, so it's a really good sign that like it could do even better here. We'll see. I'm curious if somebody's like talked about it recently. Look, for people that are curious, like how much money you need to make money, somebody in my Discord just posted this P&L. Look, they put $16.26 into Peach. They were in the 250 bin 5%, $16.21. They made 300% P&L on this. So they made $51. So people all the time, like, they ask me, how much money do you need? This dude put it in with 16 bucks and made $51. So you can start with anything. You just have to be smart, catch the right coins at the right time, be patient, and you can make money. Here you go. Here's another one. Somebody put in $234. That's all they put in. And they made 40.5%. They made $94.91 off of Peach. The key to like doing well with this is that you can make that money And then the key is just don't get greedy, right? So like, don't feel like you need to re-enter back into it, right? Like you could get here and you're like, oh crap, it's going up high. Let me buy some more. And then it could just dump. And then you're like, dang, I just lost my profit. Or you create a pool and it doesn't do well, right? Now it could do well here. Obviously, like I think the volume's now up to 2 million. It's probably about to like launch. But you need to be careful and not get over greedy with stuff and then just lose out on all of your profit, right? It's important to earn. Also, don't just chase after stuff, right? You're like, oh, I made this money on Peach. And then the next coin that pops up that you think is Peach, you get into it and you end up losing money on it, right? Like you've made good money, be patient, wait for the next one that's really good, and then keep going. Yeah, people in Discord are posting a ton of 40% or higher ROIs on Peach, right? All right, we're gonna buy 10 SOL of some Peach here and see if we can make some money. It looks like it's going to continue to pump here. I'm not sure why it's catching so much action. Let's see if there's anything on Twitter about it. Vector was Function was talking about it on Vector. Poop. I guess Poop Coin's doing well as well. I saw someone in our in the chat talking about this. Look, we're buying the top here, this 10 SOL. And so that's obviously risky. Again, we can lose some of the profits that we've made off of this if we continue to chase it. You can also see on the MACD, it's like going pretty wild here as far as what it's doing. So the likelihood of this coming down to me is actually much higher than it going up. And I'm tempted to just get out of it, but we're going to see. It's going pretty wild right now with the volume. The volume's now up to 3 million. And so we'll just see what it does. Jail Stool is dying, which is a good sign that Peach is going to go up. A lot of the rotation will go from Jail Stool to Peach. I don't know what this Poop Coin is. Anybody know about this? I saw people talking about it on Vector earlier, and then I just see it. I see it here as well. Look, people making money on Peach on Vector. Let's see. Still kicking the cough. Do you think it's possible to do a 2% compound daily on DLM Impulse? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you can see on here we're earning close to 2%. You would have to close out of the pool and remake it, but I think you could do well if you do this just once a day. You close it out. You'll make enough that it's worth it. And then they have new features coming out with a new calculator and some pretty cool features and stuff to compound on the way as well. Say I got 5K in stables, how to make some passive income with this. It depends on how much you're trying to make, but I would say if you want to just keep them in stables, you can come lend right here and you can make 18% APY on your USDC right here. This is the best USDC returns you'll get on DeFi Tuna. Better than anywhere else. Curious to see what Peach is going to do here. I want to set up a pool, but I'm trying to decide if I want to set up like a two-sided pool here, if I just want to sell this and do a one-sided SOL bid ask. All right, we're selling it and we're going to do a one-sided SOL bid ask. I think it's going to come back down here. Oops, that's not a good, that's a big separation. That's closer. I'm just setting these pulled up on my other wallet as well. Just give me just a moment here. But yeah, I mean, Sol's sitting between 202 and 203 for a while now. I think at some point it'll make a move, hopefully up. Could make a move down as well, but our DeFi Tuna pool is going to be doing well just sitting inside of this. Sitting inside this range. You can see the debt is 0.31 and the yield is $3.30. You want your debt to be at about 10% or less. It can go up a little higher temporarily, but you want your debt to be around 10% of your yield. If you're earning enough on yield, then it's not a big deal, but just something to look at. We do see Peach dumping here, and we had set up this one-sided Sol bid ask, and so we'll start to earn fees off of that. I actually set this up on both of my wallets. And so this is how we're playing it on the way back down, to, again, try to not get into it too much. We bought some initially, but then we sold basically at a break even because it looked like it was going to reverse. And so basically now we're just trying to capitalize on this crazy high volume as it dips back down to earn some more fees. Let me see if anybody has some questions here. If you have limit orders, why is it not safe to put a 4 to 5x in DeFi Tuna? It is safe as far as like not getting liquidated, but it's not as safe as far as if for some reason this moves very aggressively too close to the ends of the range, I'll end up losing money because I'm more leveraged, right? So you can imagine, let's say I'm borrowing, right? Right now I'm providing 1x and I'm borrowing 2x. So it's a total of 3x, right? So essentially, if I have the $19,174 in, I'm borrowing, I'll just do this, 19,000, or what do 57,607 minus 19,174, right? So you can see here, I have 19,000, well, the money changes, but I had 19,170 roughly. And then, so I'm borrowing 38,433, right? So of this 38,433, part of this, 82% of it is deposited in USDC. The other half is in Sol, right? But the thing is that if let's say I got in at 203, the closer it moves to the outer edges here, whenever I have to pay back the loan because I'm borrowing money from these people, right? You can imagine if the price of Sol goes from 203 to 210, well, I'm having to pay Sol back at 210. I borrowed at 203. So that's a $7 difference per Sol that I borrowed. And so the further it gets to the end of my ranges here, the less I'm going to make when I have to pay it back, or the more I'm going to have to pay back. And so that eats into my profits, right? So the goal is that with this, you're leveraging. And so because of that, you want to try to stay within the range as long as possible before having to pay it back. And you want to close it out as close to center as possible. Now, if you're in a slight long like I am, it's actually best to close it out just slightly above the entry. And if you're short, then you want to sell it. You want to close it out just below, right? Now, it's okay if I close it out close to the end of my range if I've been in longer, because the longer I'm in range, the more I'm earning on fees, and that would offset any amount of money I would lose off of paying it back when it's worth a different value than when we went in, right? And so the higher leverage I go, if I go to 4 or 5x leverage, I'm earning more on the yield, but it also means that I'll take higher and permanent loss if it goes to the end of my ranges because of how much I'm having to pay back. So this is kind of a good medium ground for me. I see you placing orders directly on Good Morning, Good Night. I moved away from using BullX because of the fees, sticking to swaps and Jupe now. Yeah, so I've explained this before. If I'm buying something like Fartcoin or ARK, or Sol or USDC, something that's not volatile, I use Jupiter. But if I'm using something like Peach and I'm needing to get in and out, Jupiter is way too slow. It's super efficient, but the thing that makes it efficient also makes it slow. And so a lot of times the 1% fee that I'll pay on Good Morning, Good Night is way better. It's way faster because I'll end up losing 2 or 3 or 5% on when stuff's moving really, really quickly, trying to go through Jupiter and it taking forever. So the 1% actually makes me or saves me money on Good Morning, Good Night, having this trading bot that buys it really, really quickly over using Jupiter. And so that's why I do it that way. if you end up wanting to use good morning, good night, and you use this, I have my DLMM wallet directly connected into it. So I can buy here, immediately go to Meteora, and I can set up the pool right away. And it's very nice, and it makes it very quick for getting in and out of stuff. Let me give y'all my referral code. If you do use it, this is my referral code. I'd appreciate if y'all would use it. If you don't use it, hey, no problem. But if you're using it, you might as well put in a referral code. It helps me out a ton. Are you in a DLMM pool for Peach? Yes, I have a one-sided SOL pool that I set up here. You can see that I'm earning really, really well on the fees. If it pumps back up, I'll keep all the SOL I started with plus the fees. I've made about $70, $71 right here. And so I don't know that Peach is going to come all the way back. It's taken a good dip here. And so I'm earning good on the fees, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. This is kind of a safe way to DLMM, right? We set up a one-sided SOL pool as it comes down. You can see, let me refresh Ultra LP here. Yeah, so you can see I'm up $62, even though I set up a pool and it's only down, right? So it's only gone down, and it's not even using, like, it didn't even go way down. It's only using part of my liquidity here. But because I've earned so much in fees, the small amount that it's gone down, I'm still up $60 in fees. Look at that, $66, which is 2%. Hey, that's free money. Even if it pumps back up now, I'm still making, I'll still have made like 3%. But if it stays down in range as well, then I'll just make even more. It's kind of a low risk way to do it. Will Fox says not the fastest, but fine if you're not sniping. Yeah, they kind of like what I'm talking about. Yeah, I use Jupe sometimes, and then whenever I want to go faster, I use Good Morning, Good Night. Will also like to ask if you know any good scanner for Meteor pools other than no, I don't know many good scanners. Metlex has one. You can find pools here. You just go under pools or DLMM here, right here, DLMM, and you can see the top pools. You can see CAR is one of them. Jailstool is one of them. There's a bunch of different ones here, but you can put criteria for whether you want it to be certain fee percentages, filter by volume, that sort of thing. And it'll filter out and show you the top pools here, which is metlex.io. It's the same thing that we use to measure our profit and loss after being in a pool. It does look like Peach might be moving back up here. We're going to buy a little bit of Peach. Let's see here. So as it moves back up here, obviously our pool is a one-sided sold down. You can see once this updates here, yeah, we earned like $70 in fees roughly. See if I can close this out. And so, but it looks like it's about to reverse back up. So now we're just going to swap back out of it. Yeah, we made like almost $100 off of Peach. We just bought in some more. I think at this point, I'm probably going to set up a two-sided pool. So we're in the 255%. We're going to set up a two-sided pool. I think that it's probably going to range fairly well around here. It looks like it's definitely going to move up. And so if it explodes up, that's great. But I just want to set it up just in case it does range here for a while. Again, we'll be happy if it just explodes up. But the reason we DLMM, the reason we set it up this way is to be able to capture the fees. The upside isn't as high setting it up like this. But the downside also is much better. And so it does look like it's reversing it. It might just explode right here if I'm honest, but we'll see what it does. I'm actually waiting on my other wallet to see what it's going to do here. because it has signs of just like exploding. I'm actually going to close this pool out here because it looks like it's about to just rip all the way up to like 10 million market cap. Volume is picking up a lot. MACD is just crossing back up, showing an upward trend, and it's already broken above its previous high. So this looks like it's about to explode. So we went ahead and just closed out of the pool because the upside wasn't nearly as good. And then what we'll do is we'll set up a half bid ask, one-sided bid ask like this, and then we'll set up a half spot as well. Let me refresh this. The difference is too high here. It's a pretty big difference. Slippage is too high. See if we can get it to go through again. It's dipped back down some, so that's good. Maybe I should have just kept it on a two-sided sold pool. I second guessed myself. So we're doing a half spot, half bid ask here, but we'll see. We may adjust it back to a two-sided pool again, depending. We'll see. I still think that it's showing that it's going to go up, so we'll see. So this is our position here. It's a hybrid bid ask and spot on the way up, which is basically just going to allow for a lot of upward price movement here. I think with jail time dying down a bunch and people, a lot of the money's rotating into Peach here. This poop coin, I have no idea what it is, but it's not doing very hot. So like, I don't expect it to, it's like still got a decent amount of volume. I just don't expect it to do nearly as well. And so I think Peach might end up being the best option here. So we'll see how it goes. Let me answer some more questions here. Poop coin was mentioned on CNBC. Interesting. Yeah, it didn't really do a whole lot for it being mentioned on that. When you borrow crypto, how long do you have until you have to pay it back? When is it due? There is no due time. So you can see if you go to lending on DeFi Tuna here, you can see the supply. So if you supply it, you lend it, this is how much you're going to earn. And if you're borrowing it, this is how much you're going to earn, right? And so like the borrow rate right now is 32% APY. So that's annualized, right? So 32%, again, this isn't exact, but just to give you an example, if you do 32% and you divide it by 365 days, you get 0.087. If you divide that by 24, then you're getting 0.36% an hour, right? Roughly, that's how much it was, right? This is what it was. Yeah. So that means in a day, you're paying, 0.0876. But if you're earning 2% a day, that ends up being like fairly small, right? So this is where you can see how much you're borrowing though. And you don't have to pay it back. If you're borrowing it, now if you go to try to make a pool and the limit is already reached because there's no more money to borrow, then it'll just say you can't do it, right? But as far as borrowing, you can borrow it as long as you want. You'll see this number right here, this 50 cents. You'll see it go up. This is the total amount of debt. This is how much I've borrowed. And so you'll see this 50 cents go up, but you also see the yield go up, right? And so the goal is that the yield will continue to grow much faster than the debt, which obviously you can see that it is here. And there goes Peach. I thought it was going to break out. It was showing some pretty good signs of it. Peach is absolutely ripping right now. So that's good for us. We had set up this massive 400% one-sided pool. We're now earning over 999% on this. And so we've got a lot of room for it to move up even more. So that's a good sign as it moves up. All right, let's check some more questions here. Continue to watch Peach absolutely rip. There's no way you can predict the market well enough to beat a 1% fee. Joey, I think I do it all the time. If you cannot predict the market enough to affect a 1% fee, then you should probably not be doing this. I'm not saying that I predict the market perfect, but if you're looking at this meme coin just went from 6 mil to 12 mil in minutes, right? Like in like 10 or 15 minutes, right? And so if I'm trying to buy into this and there's a lot of volatility and I try to do it on Jupe, a lot of times the transaction won't go through. And so what I'm saying is that if I'm trying to buy this and it takes minutes to do it, that could easily be a 5, 10, 15, 20% difference in the price of the coin. I'd much rather pay a 1% fee to be able to buy this just like I did here and instantly have it go through and then be able to capitalize on a giant increase like this. This is a great example of that, right? And so I think 1% fee is nothing. I'm looking at the 1 minute chart. Yeah. What do you see when Meteora sends this message? Current pool price. Do you still open the pool? If the price is close at and Lewis, you saw I just did it, then yes, I do still open it. You just have to be careful because you can lose money if the price difference is too large. I started my DLM journey 5 days ago. This hour with you on stream has been my most profitable and most educational. Thank you. Will, hey, dude, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you have been cooking with us today. Haitian Buffet. Sorry, man. Why are you on the sideline? You didn't get in? Will, your story, man, is why I love doing what I do. I could be doing this on my own, but I enjoy being able to stream this stuff and show people so that we can learn and grow together and make money together. Up 200% on that coin I sent. Foam, I didn't even see that. Check out this coin. One, two, three. This is pretty low market cap. Whoa. Not gonna lie, Foam. This looks a little weird. Looks like it's about to dump too. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. We'll watch it, Foam, but it's interesting for sure. So yeah, as Peach comes down here, which it is going to come down some, we'll continue to earn fees off of this. Obviously, like we could sell it where it's at on the high side. We're up $1,000 on this. Let's see where it's at. How much did we put in? We only put in a little bit. Oh, we were up a lot. I probably should have sold that. Is that right? Wow. It's pretty high. We're not going to get greedy on this. We're just going to take our profits. It's dipping a lot. We can buy back in if it dips more. It could also launch back up. But I don't think there's any reason to get overly greedy on this. Boom. I didn't realize, this is why I love Ultra LP. I didn't realize how much I was up with that pump. Good morning. Good morning. Does swaps through good morning, good night route via Jupe? It routes through a few different places, I think, Seb. I think it routes through Radium or Jupe, whichever is better. That's crazy. In that short amount of time, we made 65%. Look at that. 65% on that one. That's crazy. I didn't realize I was up so much. That's why I love Ultra LP. This thing could, again, this could launch back up and do really, really well. But earlier I made like $2,500. I made another, what did it just say? Another 1,200 here. Like, Peach has done really, really, really well for us. It's good to take your profits when you can. Yes, new to DMM journey. Yeah, Foam, I think this might be dying off, man. Price action in a few minutes is a random walk if you only look at basic stuff like MACD and RSI. That is a random walk. I'm not sure what you mean by random walk, but if you only look at basic stuff, I look at basic stuff, Joey Macario, like MACD, RSI, and do fairly well. So I think sometimes people get too crazy with charts. They think they're too smart for their own good, and it actually can cause people to lose a lot of money. Will Fox said, yeah, I'm losing out on entries here using Jupe. Lesson learned. Exactly. Yeah. I think people get so upset over 1%. I'm like, bro, 1% for a trading bot is cheap as all get out. Like, I think we're a little bit spoiled in crypto. People, it's like if you can use Jupe and you can just trade right here, it's way, way cheaper, right? For Sol USDC, for JLP, for a lot of different stuff. Peach, by the way, looks like it's about to go back up again. For a lot of stuff, Jupe can be good, right? Like, again, Fartcoin, ARC, like these are moving slow enough that you don't need to use good morning and good night to buy these, right? But if you're trying to buy something like Car or like Jail Time or like Peach, stuff that's moving fast, that 1% will save you a lot of money. Minik, legendary stream, sir. Could you quickly run through your favorite 5 tools to use? Yeah, I'd use them all the time. It would be Jupiter, Meteora, Metlex, DeFi Tuna, Ultra LP, and good morning and good night. These are all the platforms that I use and all the charts and stuff that I use. If you use good morning, good night, I put my referral in the stream, both on YouTube and on Twitter. I'd appreciate if you would use it. Anytime you buy and sell off of it, I get a kickback. It's really great. And I only promote stuff that I use. It's just Lindy. Oh my God, I bought and then had to run. Just came back to Peaches. What happened? Hey, 0.2 buy, sold at 1.2 sold. That's amazing. Way to go. Very educational day. Thank you. Hey, easily killed. I'm glad to hear it, man. Can we join the pool now? It's probably not the best time. It's like peaking pretty high right now. I would maybe wait for like a dip or something like that, but you've got to make that decision for yourself. Link for Ultra LP. It's beta only access right now. And so here's the link. I'm going to put it both on the YouTube and on Twitter. You'll have to sign up for closed beta. And then some people said they've waited a week. Some have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, you just need to sign up for it. Also, if I get any codes, I'll be giving them out on stream. I've only gotten 3 and I gave them out like a few weeks ago. Oh, Rocky, random walk on Wall Street. Definitely worth a read. I'll check it out. Yeah. Swapping on good morning, good night is a game changer. Thanks a lot. Hey man, thanks for using it. I think it's great. Is it worth doing an AST to catch the downside with Peach? Yeah, potentially. It looks like it might be reversing here. So you could just set up like a pool like this and do like a one-sided bid ask to catch Peach as it comes down. You have to remember, nothing comes up forever. A lot of coins that do well, they'll pump pretty heavy, have a decent drawback before then breaking back out again. And so whether we just set up a one-sided soul pool here and it does nothing, or it comes a little bit into range, we make 20 or 30 bucks and then it moves out, or it just like dips a lot, but we just make crazy fees. Like that's the ideal scenario. Either way, like it's doing a one-sided soul bid ask is a very low risk way to try to earn and make money, like we're doing here. I'm going to set up another one-sided soul bid ask on my other wallet as well. Again, I don't know that it's going to come down. It just looks like, based on the MACD, RSI, and kind of what it's showing here, that it has a good chance it could retrace here. But a lot of times when coins are pumping, like, they'll just break all the charts, right? Like, you could see here, it looked like it was going to come back down again, and then it started to pick back up before potentially breaking back down again. Someone had posted a token in Discord, so I'm going to look at that. Did United Arab Emirates make a coin? This is crazy. UAE launched their own coin. We'll buy 5 SOL of it and see what it does. There's a lot of countries that are going to be launching coins now, which is just wild. We have full-on countries launching coins. Wild. I don't even know who this is, but he clearly is got a lot of followers and has influence of some kind, and he's pro UAE. Could be a politician or something over there. I have no idea. Oh, good. It looks like it might be doing well. It's only at 1.3 million market cap, so it could do really well, but not sure. Yeah, Peach does look like it's about to dip, so it's good we set up that one-sided SOL pool. Oh, that's Peach. Where am I at? UAE. I only bought 5 SOL worth. Do I want to buy another 5? It's so new. This is a little bit of the DJ inside of me, but this whole like country thing, like launching tokens, is kind of hype right now. And so that's the only reason that I'm buying into a 1 million market cap coin, because it could do really, really well. We'll see. It could just absolutely rug and do terrible as well. So always be careful. Don't necessarily just follow me on this. See kind of questions people got. Yeah, Peach looks like it's going to continue to dip, so our one-sided SOL bid ask is going to do well there. Let's see how much downside you'll do. Share the CA. On Peach, I'm doing a downside of 80% just to be safe. It's probably a hacked X. Yeah, it could be. You're probably right. Here, I'll just sell it. It's not doing well enough for like what it could be, right? Like if that's actually what it is, it should be doing way better. We'll just get out of it. I'll probably look at it tomorrow and it's like 100 mil, and I'm going to blame y'all. I'm just kidding. Do you know if I joined Good Morning Good Night with no referral code, but I want to use how that is set up? I'm honestly not sure how you would do that. you might be able to ask them. Under referral, there might be a place to do it. I'm not sure. You can see here, it looks like Peach is dipping. We can look at the MACD, RSI, all of it's giving that signal. It makes sense too after topping out here. I'd expect it to come down at least to 7 mil, if not further. But you can see here we're doing fairly well on it as far as fees. I say fairly well. We're not really earning much right now. We're up $3. Let's go. The volume is high on this. So when you do a one-sided sold bid ask, even if the token dips pretty heavily, usually the fees offset it fairly well. Also, we're not putting like a ton into this, right? Like we did 3,000 worth of SOL into this, which again, for me is not a ton. So I think I'm going to be getting off fairly soon. I want to see what Peach does here. And then as we make a decision on this, then we'll probably hop off after that. Car is continuing to dip. Volume on it's died down a lot. So we're not going to keep watching it for now. If it comes back, great. Arc and Fart Coin's still doing really, really well. I imagine that SOL is still around 203. Yeah, 203.70. You can see here on DeFi Tuna, we're 84 cents in debt, which is lower than the 10% of our yield, or 94 cents, sorry, but we're up $13 on yield, so that's pretty good. I actually had a DeFi Tuna pool that I had opened earlier today, and you can see it's doing really well also. You can see here I'd set it up similar to how I just did this one, but a little bit different and a little bit smaller sizing, but also at 3x. And you can see we were $1.89 in debt, but we're up $30 on the yield. So that's 2.5% per day that we're earning. That's on my other wallet. And we were slightly long on it as well. And we set it up around when SOL was around 201. So it's sitting in a really, really good spot. Similarly here. We're good. If SOL kind of sits around this range, we'll be happy. Or if it ends up coming up all the way up to like 208, 209 or anything like that, we'll still be in a really good spot where like it's not too close to the end of our range. And we just want to sit in that as long as we can. So Peach also doing well here. You can see we're earning over 100%. We're just at the lower end of our range. So again, like even though we've bought some of it, we've bought very little. And yet the amount of fees that we're earning is going to offset any amount of losses that we're taking. We'll probably be pretty close to like $0 here on the profit as it comes down. If the fees are strong enough, then like, if the fees are high enough, then sometimes we'll be in profit even as it's coming down. But for the most part, we'll probably stay fairly close to like $0 in profit, maybe a little green, a little red, until it starts to move back up. And then as it does, if we see like a small little pump or something, you can see here, in the real-time P&L down here that we're up $3.80. And so as we see a little pump up, we'll start to see the profit again as it moves back up here. Again, this is a very like low risk play. Even if you end up losing on this, it'll be like very little compared to what it would be if you bought this, right? We've already made a lot on Peach, so we're continuing to cook here. We are going to hop off soon to be able to go to lunch. So we're just watching to see if this is going to keep going down or rotate in this range for a while. Let's see. I think you have to do it through the Telegram and browser. Click on your profile at the top, click referral, connect the Telegram bot, then go into settings in Telegram. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just Lindy. Like, see how I have my Telegram set up? If you connect your Telegram, you should be able to add the referral in the settings there. Thank you. Pool price is different from estimated market price. How do you get around this? Estimated. Well, the pool price is Peach SOL, and I'm looking at the chart in USD, which is fine. Like I just know the difference between the two, but you can just swap this to SOL, and then you'll be able to see it, and it adjusts. I'd be careful though, because there was a launch similar, and then it rugged hard, shilled by similar guys. You're talking about Peach or a different coin, Trev? I tuned in too late. Just going to watch the replay. Hey, work with Mike. We cooked today on Peach, man. Made some good money. Hope you enjoy the stream. Vitor, my man is a money printer everywhere. So much alpha here. Hey, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Poop's running. Let's see if it's running. I don't know if I'd call that a run, but it's definitely moving up fairly well. I don't know, like this was a speculate you, bro. Oh, appreciate. Hey, Poppy, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Poppy speculates me. I speculate you, bro. Peach dipping pretty hard here again. This is pretty normal. It might bounce off this 7, or it might even come down way lower. We'll have to see. Let's see what Ultra LP is giving. Let me refresh this. These numbers are slightly off. There you go. So we're slightly down. You can see $7 because of it, because of how heavy it's dipping here, right? Like it's dipping really, really heavy. You can see it's going to start to move into, once this updates, into more of the meat here, which is good. This means that we're buying more though, which means that we're going to take a little bit more on the impermanent loss side as it moves down, but we're also collecting a lot more in fees. And so as this moves down, it's showing a slight negative. But if Peach starts to move back up here, at any point, we're going to see Peach move back up. It may come down further before it does that. We'll see another little pump back up. And that's where we can either sell out, or if we think it's going to continue to move back up, we can continue to hold it, right? And so the goal, it's a good sign. Like the whole point of a one-sided sold bid ask is that we want it to dump like this. Now, ideally, it would kind of like be a little more choppy and move down a little less aggressive than this. But even with this is perfectly fine. You kind of expect this from a lower market cap coin. And so it looks like it's going to keep going lower, maybe all the way down to the 4.5 here. And look, this is why whenever we set this up, we set up an 80 bin, right? A 250 bin at 80% range down, because this can literally go all the way to 1.2 on the Sol price. Where are we at? Peach, Sol. So this can literally come all the way down to right here, which is, yeah, like 3 million market cap. That's how low my range is. Now, I don't want it to hit 3 million. I'd prefer it to bounce a little bit before that. But if it does come that low before bouncing back up, then that's okay. Again, we're earning a lot of fees here. You'll see these fees start to increase as this moves down, because it's basing this number off of my total deposit of 3,000. It was a little over 3,000 before. And so it's basing this off of that. And yet most of our money is at the end here, right? So if it's only using this here, then it's showing 278%. But as it moves down, we'll end up earning more in fees. Or if the volume just picks up a lot where it is, we'll earn more in fees. And what the interesting thing is, again, even though it's dumping down here, if we just see a little bit of sideways action here, we'll immediately go from being down to back into profit. You can see we're down $52 right now. About 1.72%. And that's with like a heavy dump. We're down 1%. That's like, again, on the safe side of things, really pretty good. And again, if we see this bounce and start to come back up, we'll immediately start to come back into profit, which is the goal. The only way we'd lose on this is like if this thing just blew out of the bottom and just completely rubbed. That would be the only way. And even then, we'd probably lose like 2 or 3%. It wouldn't even be that bad. My wife's calling me. I can't mute my mic. Let me take it real quick. Hey, babe, I'm on a live stream. All right, bye. She sounded sad. I'll need to call her back. Oh, she texted me. So look, you can see the bounce right here happening. We can see on the MACD, it's starting to slow. We might see a little bit of sideways action before it comes back up. But watch this. Look at this. Now we're in $33 in profit. All it took was for Peach to have this little bit of green, and we're already back in profit after it dipped down. And now look, now it's going to end up moving back up. We're at 327%. We've made $100 on the fees, right? And if this thing just blows all the way back up, we'll finish with what we started with, and we'll have collected a couple $100 in fees. The UAA, good thing you didn't hold. Yeah, it didn't look very strong after I thought about it. A lot of times I'll buy into something and then sell out of it if I'm like, it's not too great. It's kind of the buy first, do research later. It's not the best idea, but sometimes I'll do it. FOMO on Peach got in at 12 million, now down like 35%. What I get for being Ben sideline at But Haitian Buffet, did you not do a one-sided Sol? You ended up just buying it straight up? I said not to buy it. When we were at 12 Sol, someone was like, is it a good time to get in? And I'm like, no, it's topping out right now. You need to wait for it to dip. You shouldn't have been, you shouldn't be spot buying here. I mean, look at where my buys are down here, right? I bought here. I sold on the way up. I bought some more in the dip. I sold on the way up. And then what? Whenever it was up here, we set up a Sol one-sided bid ask. It's come back down. Now it's doing a little bit of some sideways action here. I think it'll eventually will move back up some. But you can't be just buying at the top up here. That's going to get you burnt every time. What do you think is good to hope on this peach with bid ask? Yeah, I kind of explained it, but basically we're looking for it to make a little bit of sideways action and then move up some. Like, I don't need it to come back up to like 10 or 11 or 12 mil. I just need it to come back up to like, I mean, even if it doesn't come back up, we're in profit right now. But like, ideally it would come back up to like 8 or 9 mil, like right here. And we'd be up in profit a decent amount to be able to sell. I think we got in around here, like right here. We didn't actually get in like way at the top up here. We got in around here at 10 or 11. But you can see it looks like on the MACD it's starting to slow. It might dip a little bit more, but ultimately I think it's going to end up reversing here. So we'll see. But again, we're just earning more and more fees. We're up to 371%. Just earning a lot on the fees. Let's see where we're at on profit and loss. These aren't updated. Oh, there it goes. Okay. It keeps bouncing around. Either way, if it dips down a little more, then we'll be in a slight loss. And if it pops back up, then we'll be in profit. But as it sits here, the longer it sits here, the more money that we're going to make until it finally makes a move back up. You could also have gone 2-3 positions with a sawtooth or anti-sawtooth. Yeah, I don't really do the whole sawtooth, anti-sawtooth thing that much. You could, but bid ask 100% Sol is crazy. There is almost no way we lose. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Like, even when you do lose, like, it's not a lot. I spot bought around when you did shot up 60% sold and did another buy. Yeah, so Jasio, if you did another buy, you're probably down, right? You probably ate into your profit. So you don't want to just buy, sell high, and then buy high again. That's you want to set up like a Sol one-sided bid ask like this, or you just wait for this dip and then you rebuy back in. You don't want to buy high after you've sold high because it can eat into your profits. Sounds good, Haitian Buffet. Hey, sometimes we need to lose money to learn. Daniel DeWitt, will you focus on one coin the entire day, or are you diversifying throughout the day? No, I normally diversify. Right now, this one just seems to be the best. This poop coin doesn't really seem to be doing enough for me. And then I have bought Spot, Fart Coin, and ARK. And at some point, again, I'm not too worried about these. I can hold these Spot. You can see here where I like got into them, but ultimately, because I'm up on them, ultimately I want to set up a pool. I wanted to see if Sol was going to make a quick pump up, and then I was going to maybe set up the pool. So just kind of watching it right now. It does look like Peach is dipping down a little bit more. I mean, it could come down even further, honestly. I'm not sure that it will, but it could. And look, if I'm worried, like I'm earning fees right now, right? And I'm like down a little bit here, but again, like I'm down 1.63%. That's like nothing, right? And so at any point, if I'm just like, you know what, I just don't think this is going to do great and I want to get out, I can get out. And like I've made what? I made 46% and I made 25%, I think, on my two things. So if I lose 1%, like, you know, that's not a big deal at all. But I do think that there's going to be more upside here. I'll make some money, so I'm not too worried about it. How do you track your DeFi Tuna gains and losses? Does Ultra LP track them too? Ultra LP does not track them. Soon enough, DeFi Tuna will have its own calculator built in, which is pretty amazing. But it's pretty easy to track because I can see my entry, my debt, and my yield, and so I can just manually do the math on this. Will Fox, I got into that UAE at the top of that huge red candle. It's slowly coming back, but there goes my Peach profits. Question though, as we started looking at it, I bought into it. What was a pool that must have just created any risk with that? I mean, initially when I looked at UAE, I was like, oh, this could do well if this is like actually legit. So I bought some, but then as I looked into it and people were mentioning this to me that like it's probably not the best. You can see like I just sold out. I was like, you know what? I like it, if this was legit a UAE coin, it would have been absolutely launching. And so I was like, let me just sell this. It doesn't make sense for me to be in it. It's not worth the risk, you know. And so I think ultimately you just kind of have to make good decisions about where you get into stuff and what coins you pick. This was not a good one to get into. So you can see here the MACD, it's starting to slow even more. It looks like this support here is probably going to hold, and it's probably going to move back up here. See, now we're only down $2.95, so we're almost back into the green with Peach. Again, it's going to move up and down, kind of around that zero, being a little bit in the red, a little bit in the green, until we see it make a bigger move back up. This is the one that I'm hoping for right here, though. This 10 mil range. Even getting up to like 8 or 8.5 will like put us in like really good profit. But if I need to, again, I can close out. It's not a big deal. I only took the profits and reinvested it for fun. But yes, thank you for advice. There's a really good overall P&L tracker for LPing. I'll post in the Discord if anyone wants it. Jucifer, what is the P&L tracker you're talking about? I want to close out of this before I go to lunch. I don't want to sit on this. So at some point within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to close out of it, and then I'm going to hop off just to let y'all know. But basically, we're just looking for this MACD, these two lines, which you can see they're coming together, and you can see the volume on this dipping a ton, or the sell action on this dipping a ton. We're still seeing 1.5 million volume on the 5 minutes. So this thing still has crazy volume. We're seeing what looks like is going to be a reversal. It hasn't reversed yet. It could still come back down here, but the lines are moving closer and closer together. So I think soon, within the next 5 to 10 minutes, or even within a few minutes, we'll see this start to come back up. You posted in Discord. Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just want to make sure, not saying you're scamming or anything. I like to check links and stuff like that and make sure stuff's good before people just shill it. So you can see here, the lines are now touching. It looks like it is about to make a reversal back up. And so if we come over here to Ultra LP, look at that. We're already up $120. We're up 4% just with a little bit of a reversal here. And the reason that is because we've just been collecting stupid fees here. We've collected $200 in fees on a 3K pool. And as this moves back up, all of those fees that we're earning are now worth more. And our SOL that we'd used to buy into Peach, we're now selling Peach back on the way back up. Again, at any point we can sell this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and see. Basically, this reversal is happening here. How high is it going to come up before it gets tested and comes back down? And honestly, I would like to sit on this much, much longer. I think this could do really well. But because I need to head out and get lunch for me and my wife, and I've been streaming for over 2 hours now, like 2.5 hours, basically, I do need to get off. So I'll end up just taking my profits and being happy with that once this moves up a little bit more. But again, we're already at a 5% return here. And this is the power of a one-sided SOL bid ask. Just waiting to see this bounce. How often do you live stream? I've just started getting into DLM on the weekend and much still to learn. I live stream every Monday and Wednesday, every single week. By the way, we're up to 861 viewers. I didn't realize that. That's amazing. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you're using Good Morning, Good Night, like I have, using the TradeBot here, please use my referral code. I posted it earlier. You can also get it in the Discord under official links. It helps me get a kickback. I really, really appreciate it. Good morning, good night. It's an amazing tool. I only promote stuff that I use, and I love using it. But yeah, I stream every Monday, Wednesday. I'll sometimes stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays if I have some sort of special guest or a special reason, like there's a big launch. But yeah, discord.gg/token guy is the Discord, by the way. If you're not in it, token guy. I will I'll put it into YouTube. And also, if you're wanting to learn, like obviously I'm streaming, but if you can't catch me when I'm streaming, I have tons of guides. I have this pinned one, Ultimate DLMM guide, that goes through videos of basics, pool selection, strategy breakdowns, charting entries and exits, all that good stuff. And I do tons of posts. I do polls and stuff like that every now and then. And then I also do videos as well. I haven't done any in a while, need to, but like you can see here, I was posting about Orbit. Sorry. Here you go. Here's one on DeFi Tuna, like some of the stuff that I'm doing on DeFi Tuna, showing you how I do everything. Some more DeFi Tuna stuff. So there's a ton of educational content. Also within our Discord, we have a ton of educational content as well. Yeah, you can see it's still reversing here. It's like going fairly slow, but it looks like the volume is picking up a little bit on the 5 minute. It was 1.3, now it's 1.6 million. So I do expect this to continue to pick up. As it stays sideways, honestly, we just earn more in fees. And you can see that here, we're at $174 now. But I would like it to pick up just a little bit more before we get out of it. And so we'll just continue to watch this. I'm not sure how high it's going to come up here. It's moving a little slower than expected. So we'll see. We're going to continue to watch it. But at some point here, we'll close it out. Thanks, man. Awesome skill. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Signing up for Good Morning, Good Night, brother. Repost the referral. Yeah, let me do that. It's right here. I'm posting it in YouTube and on Twitter. That's my referral. Thank you. Jail is ripping. Great. I have to go eat lunch. I can't stay on my computer forever. So the price I got in, would a one-sided soul curve be good at 112? At 112 or at 11 or 12 million? What are you asking, Haitian Buffet? I wouldn't say curve. A one-sided soul bid ask would have been good. What is that? Where did this come from? It looked like it was about to just dribble off and die. Maybe David Portnoy himself is like sending it. You know, again, I don't have time right now, but when you see stuff like this, you could go to the activity here, and you can go under the whales. Again, I'd have to filter all this, but you could see who's making the big buys. And then if you check on chain, you could actually see sometimes people will have set up, like on Jupiter, one-sided, sorry, not one-sided, but DCAs into a coin, and you can actually get in if they're doing that while it's like DCAing up. Not necessarily saying that's the fact, but you could check that. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Richard Diamond had posted he copied what David had said on a tweet. The fact I'm still putting my own money into Jail Stool because I don't want people losing money shows that my heart is too big for this stupid space. I need a blacker heart. Rise, Jail Stool, rise. Hey, that's a good response. Maybe it does really, really well. I'm not going to mess with it right now, but oh, what the heck happened to Peach? Come on, Peach, where did that come from? I should have been paying attention. I'm probably earning a lot on fees. Yeah, we're earning 546% on fees, but this profit has probably dropped a lot. Yeah, it's now, is it 75? It's $250 down now. Yeah, this was a huge dip on Peach. Obviously, this is not ideal. I did not expect it to go this low. If I would have got out when it was at 7.5 mil, then we would have made a lot of money, or not a lot, but a little bit of money. But yeah, so basically at this point, since it's dipped down this low, which again, this is low market cap stuff. This is the risk of it, right? Even with it, like look, we got into this with a sold bid ask at 10 mil, and it is now at 3.5 mil. And we got in with $3,000, and we're only down $250 or $380, whatever it is, a couple $100, right? And so with sold bid ask, like obviously it reduces that downside and how much you can lose, which is really good. I do expect there to be maybe a pump back here. I'm not too sure. I'm kind of sad I didn't close it out up here though. I started monologuing about something else, I guess. Because even being in a couple $100 in profit or a break even would have been much better than being down a few hundred. Again, we made so much money on Peach that this is like nothing, but I would like to see a little bit of a comeback here. Again, we're still earning a lot on the fees. And so we could continue to let this kind of brew down even where it is now. And then eventually, if we get a little bit of a kickback, look, now we're only down to $138. We're down 4.5% because it started to come back a little bit, right? So again, like the one-sided sold bid ask, even with it dumping this low, still we're not in that bad of a position. But now I just have to sit here and wait a little longer to see what it's going to do. So hopefully it'll come back up some. They're rotating back. Oh yeah, there's people that might have sold Peach to buy back into jail stool. Unfortunately, David and his tweets can affect how much money we're making. This was like a revenge coin against jail stool, and then he started talking about jail stool, and people like him again, I guess, and it starts pumping again, which is obviously going to hurt Peach. So that's one thing with a lot of these coins is someone can say something, it can drastically affect where you're at on something like this. Check my other wallet here. Okay. I really need to get off soon. Making money hurts. Yeah, sometimes it does. Yeah, I mean, it's going to fluctuate around here. I'm just looking to see, like, is this going to dump further or is it going to pick back up? The volume is still really good on it. So it's like the likelihood of it coming back up is fairly strong here. Again, we don't need it to come up super high here for us to get back to a break even or in profit. Again, long term, if I wanted to, I could just hold this and wait for it to come back up if I think that's what it's going to do. I really need to get my wife some lunch. So I'm about to go do that. I might honestly just leave this up. Geostool does look like it's going to do pretty well. I might just leave this and check it on my phone and see where it's going to go. Or I might just close it out. I don't know. But yeah, this is why I do sold bid ask, right? The risk on this is way less. If I would have bought the token up here and set up like a two-sided pool, we'd be way down right now. And also if you're trying to trade it, right, and you buy it around here because you think it might come back up, you'll end up being way down. And so it's good to, one-sided sold bid ask really reduces on the risk side. And also it's good because we're not always going to hit wins, right? Last question. If I don't want to risk meme coins, DLMMing be a profitable venture? Can DLMMing be a profitable venture? Thank you for your time and education in the future. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love DLMMing. That's why we do it, right? You can DLMM and it's much lower risk than just like buying and selling. Much more profitable. Sol USDC is great. Yeah. You can make a lot of money on Sol USDC. I'm currently doing Sol USDC on DeFi Tuna, doing the leverage here. And you can see that we've already earned $21.9 in yield. We only have $1.59 in debt. So overall, $20 up, very close to our entry point, earning 2% a day. And so that's a great option. Yeah. All right. I'm going to sell Peach, I think. Oh, yeah. Moved out of my range. Definitely a good sign. We're going to end up taking a little bit of a loss on this. Hey, that's okay. We've made a ton of money on Peach today. I probably should have gotten out of this way sooner, but I didn't, and because I was chatting. But if I would have gotten out of it, then we would have been in profit or close to a break even on that. But instead, I'm probably taking like a good like 8 to 10% loss here, which happens. Peach seems to be dying off pretty good, which makes sense because Jailstool is doing really well. And obviously we could rotate some of our profit and stuff back into Jailstool if we wanted to, but we're going to hop off. It's been a really, really good day. We've made a bunch of different money, I can't check another coin before lunch. Sorry, I have to hop off. I've literally been on for like 2 hours and 45 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes at this point, which is way longer than I normally do. But honestly, it's been fun being back, and Peach was doing really, really well, which is why we continued to stay on. I was sick and didn't really get to get on as much. Over 900 people are watching today. Thank y'all so much. Again, I stream every Monday and Wednesday, but inside Discord, on Twitter, we're chatting, talking about all sorts of different stuff, even on the days that I'm not streaming. And I create other educational videos, which I'll be trying to do more of as well, bringing the different alpha on really good things like DeFi Tuna, whether it's trading on DeFi Tuna with the leverage pools or lending or anything like that. Like all of it's really, really solid. So hope to see y'all around some more. Thank y'all again, and y'all have a great day.